go. Train type, where go?
Gentlemen, this school is about combat. There are no points for second place.
This is the Never Down, Never Out podcast with your host, T.R. Matson.
Welcome back. Good morning. T.R. Matson here. Wombat to some. Never down, never out. Coming at you on the last day of April. Tomorrow's May, people. May 1st. That's crazy. Hopefully, as we finish 4 months of 2026, we can look back. You know, I usually do it quarterly, but if I'm being honest, every month I kind of take a look back and go, hey, where am I at? What am I doing? How are things going? Am I progressing? Was this past month a little slower than I wanted, but at least I'm taking some steps forward? Or, you know what, am I being honest with myself? It wasn't a good month. You know, I'm staying afloat, but life threw too many curveballs, or I did not control my mind the way I should, and I'm not where I want to be. I think self-reflection is huge in this world, because if we don't, we lose touch with the reality of what we're doing, where we're going. And I've done that. And you know, I've heard people talk about how it's so easy to get into a rut and to be, you know, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes a week, and a week becomes a month. And then soon we're talking about 2027, and you're like, man, I didn't do anything in 2026. So I do think as we end the month, let's go ahead and take a moment, reflect on April. Am I in a better place at the end of the month than I was at the beginning? If so, why? If not, why? And what can I do better? That's my take. So what are we talking about today? Why hard matters. Hard moments, I'm sorry. Need more coffee this morning. Why hard moments matter the most. Why do they? Why is it the hard times that really make a difference in our lives? Well, in my opinion, and since I'm the only one talking, I guess that's the only one you're going to hear. But in my opinion, it's because that's when the growth happens. Right? When things are going easy in any aspect, right? You talk relationships, finance, your job, your workout, your diet, you know, whatever it is you're working on. When things are going easy, they're easy. And it's just, you kind of coast, right? It's like going on a bike ride and you're going downhill. And you just got to keep it pointed in the right direction. Enjoy the breeze. But once you get to the bottom of the hill, there's probably going to be an uphill ahead of you. And it's during that uphill when you're using your muscles, putting out effort, working your lungs to get air, working your heart. That's where the growth happens. That's where you're really actually training. Right? You're not training a whole lot on the downhill. You're resting. You're staying status quo at best, right? But on that uphill, when your legs are burning, your lungs are burning, your heart rate's increased, that is, you're training your body, and in a lot of regards, your mind, to handle that workload. And then that allows your muscles to grow, your cardiovascular to grow, your mind, frankly, to be able to handle more pain. We've talked about this with my rowing analogies of being able to sit there on the rower for a long amount of time, going absolutely nowhere, never leaving my garage. But in my mind, I can handle it, which reminds me I got to row today. Hopefully it's not too long a one. But so I think that analogy works towards life too. You know, it's not the easy times. It's not when, you know, finances are great and you're making good money and the bills are low You don't grow financial strength then because it's easy. But it's when you got to look at your budget and go, man, we got to cut back. Things aren't working out. Things have gotten more expensive. Maybe jobs have changed. Bills have changed. When it gets hard like that, that's when you actually start looking at things and going, okay, I need to assess my current situation to get me back into a good situation. And that's why those hard moments are so important. An easy life is no life to live. I'm sorry. And now I'm not wishing for pain and strife and people against me. I don't look for that. I don't want that. But it's in those moments that I've been through that have caused me to get stronger and caused me to grow as an individual and allow me to now hopefully take those moments, those hard moments I've been through, and pass the stories on and pass the advice on. So hopefully others can learn somewhat through what I've experienced. Although sometimes you just have to go through it. The old adage of you grow through what you go through. Sometimes that's the best way to learn. So, but I think it's important to realize in the moment when it's hard, for whatever reason, workout, diet, relationships, finance, goals, jobs, whatever it is, whatever your heart is, when you're in that moment, don't let your mind lose sight of why it's important. This is the growth moment, right? I heard somebody say once, don't have a bad day, have a character building day. And it's cliche, but it's true, right? If you could flip the switch on your positivity, when you're in a bad moment, when it's hard, when things aren't working out, when you're like, man, this just stinks. I don't want to do this anymore. This is not a good place. I'm not happy right now. I'm not happy with the relationship, or I'm not happy with the situation I'm in. And instead of just focusing on the negatives, actually look at it and go, well, but wait a second. I'm learning. Maybe you're in a relationship that's not good, but you're learning why it's not good and why you won't put yourself in that relationship again in the future with somebody else. Maybe financially you're facing some hardships, and that stinks. That's negative, and we've all been there. But maybe that's the opportunity for you to go, you know what? I never, ever want to experience this again. So if I can get out of this, I'm going to work out of this. If I can get out of this, I will put myself in a situation where I will never, ever, ever be in this situation again. I will make different financial decisions. And I remember vividly, my wife and I had just gotten married. We were in Mississippi, and it was tight. I mean, living off of a Lieutenant 03 salary, and I like toys. So, I got my truck and I bought some dirt bikes, and I remember, we were going to pay the credit cards, and my wife had put groceries on the credit card, and I didn't realize it. And it was a higher credit card payment than I was expecting. And we got into a discussion about it. And in the moment, it was hard to talk about. It was hard for me to deal with. Because again, in the military, you're fixed income, right? I didn't have the opportunity to go work extra. Well, I did. I just wasn't going to get paid for it. But I remember in that same moment, I go, you know what? As the man of this house, I never want my wife to worry about buying groceries, or now that we have kids, buying things for the kids. And so I'm going to make financial decisions. I'm going to work hard to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm going to do everything I can in my power. Now, I can't control everything, right? But I'm going to do everything I can in my power to never have her feel like this again, and to never have to have this conversation again. So, that was the hard moment, but it really changed how I spent money. It changed the decisions I made. And I'm frankly glad that we lived it when it was just the two of us, and not us with kids or it would affect them. So, as you sit here today and you listen to me ramble at the end of April, whatever it is, look yourself in the mirror after we're done here and go, okay, well, this is my biggest hard moment that I'm dealing with today. Is this something I can affect right now in the short term? And then is there things I can learn from this so I never get myself into this situation again? Is what I'm dealing with today completely out of my control? Or if I'm being honest with myself, is it my fault, even partially? And if it is, how can I change in the future my thought process so I never have to feel this way again? And if you can do that, that's real growth, I think. That's real change and real movement towards being better tomorrow than you were yesterday. That's what I got for today. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for the clicks and likes and shares and comments and hypes and all the things that I don't even fully understand. It's making a difference. We're getting the message out, and I appreciate you listening. We'll talk tomorrow.
T.R. Matson is a 20-year Navy career combat veteran who flew the E-2C Hawkeye and F/A-18C Hornet. He's the author of Treason Flight and Vengeance Flight. You can reach him at trmatson or trmatson.com. Thanks for listening to the Never Down, Never Out podcast.